a season and a half at Turf Moor in the 1970s, having hit the highest of heights in Manchester. Well, all the warmth on display will shortly be on hold. And certainly the Iceman will have no sympathy for Burnley and a former Manchester City legend.
No, he's done just about everything goal-scoring-wise as Erling Haaland. He will want to add FA Cup goals to his incredible CV.
City won it once under Pep Guardiola. They beat Burnley on the way, the last FA Cup meeting between the two.
I just wonder if Pep just whispered in Vincent Kompany's "Don't you dare knock us out of the FA Cup. You've got bigger things to do in the next few weeks, and that's join us in the Premier League."
So Burnley get us away in their unfamiliar black strip, the first of the FA Cup sixth round ties, and one certainly laden with intrigue. How will what many people, including Pep Guardiola, see as a future Manchester City manager fare against the current team?
Well, I think they'll be fascinated to see how this Burnley team plays. They love playing with possession, moving the ball quickly. Are they going to have enough of the ball?
Bailey Peacock-Farrell stepping into the role usually reserved for Aro Muric, who is a very confident goalkeeper with the ball at his feet. Bailey Peacock-Farrell not perhaps quite at that standard.
Well, these early stages, Dan, are going to be vitally important. Burnley, will they press high? Will they commit players to try to unsettle Manchester City? And can they play through this early high press?
Well, it's a game of risk and reward, that, isn't it, against a team of this quality, because you can get so easily picked off if you do it.
Absolutely. Sometimes that does play into City's hands with the controlled possession and quality that they have, playing it through the lines. I do think it's a wonderful marker for Vincent Kompany to see how this group of players who have been outstanding in the Championship can perform against, obviously, the Premier League champions.
Kyle Walker with an intelligent throw, trying to find Riyad Mahrez. Alvarez playing a little deeper than his striking colleague Rico Lewis, as Manchester City fullbacks tend to do, come very central at times, and Burnley are starting to replicate that in the way they set up at times. Walker, first real surge, first hint of an opening for Haaland, snuffed out by Al-Dakhil.
Well, it's good position from Al-Dakhil as Walker fires that ball in towards Haaland's feet. Yeah, Lewis now in the centre of the field, on the centre spot, makes that extra midfield player the extra number. That compacts the team and obviously gives them the opportunity then to play into the areas, into Mahrez, into Foden, in those wide positions.
First potential scare for Manchester City there, but Rico Lewis in that very central position, able to retrieve the situation. That crept out of play, Riyad Mahrez, and it will be a Burnley throw. They incidentally have not won in Manchester against Manchester City Burnley since the 1973 Charity Shield. Community Shield as we would know it now. Slightly bizarre phase the competition went through. The champions, Liverpool, and the FA Cup winners, Sunderland, pulled out that year. So it was the holders, Manchester City, against Burnley, who'd finished in mid-table in the top flight the previous season. So not perhaps the most illustrious of occasions. A long wait for that feat to be replicated.
And what a day it would be if they were able to get what would be a monumental result.
That's Bayer, De Bruyne. Now Phil Foden. The bounce of the ball seemed to fool him for once.
Yeah, just a little sloppy, very unlike Phil Foden, as De Bruyne heads that towards him. Just a little casual. Great atmosphere, Dan. The rain is pouring down, which makes obviously the surface really slick and quick.
Yes, for those of you not familiar with the city, it is a typical Manchester day. Oh, and the slickness of the turf was a problem for Vitinho there, which he's relieved that there wasn't further damage done as a result. Well, fresh from a thrilling, exhilarating night in the Champions League, the FA Cup, surprisingly, has largely eluded him so far in his time at the Manchester City helm. The triumph in 2019, but they have reached the semi-finals in 5 of their 6 seasons in which he's been involved. Haaland upended an advantage play. This is Foden. Lewis. Rodri, pressure from Foster. Haaland. Foden. Alvarez. That's Laporte.
And that's sloppy. That's a poor pass from Laporte. Trying to hit the feet of Foden. The City are just trying to take control with that possession game that they have.
Well, you set a relatively recent landmark, Clive, back in 1987, 49 goals during the season for Tottenham. He had a couple of really good cup runs that particular year. Where do you think Mr. Haaland can get to in what remains?
Dan, what a question. I did say after 10 games, and obviously he got off to a sensational start after 10 games, that I thought he would smash through the 50-goal barrier this season. 55 plus. I think he's going to go well beyond that, the way he's going, but he's quite remarkable scoring feat. I see him breaking 50 for sure.
Here's De Bruyne. Certainly with the quality of service available to him, it's a very realistic prospect. This is Alvarez. And Foden might get there. Bayer had to be careful. Rodri's shot. Mahrez scampering to retrieve. He's got quite a battle with the very speedy Ian Maatsen.
Well, it's a superb cutback. Good work down that left-hand side. Alvarez and Foden combining. And as he cuts it back, it's there for Rodri to hit first time. It's a good block.
Johan Berg Gudmundsson got in the way. Connor Roberts. Alvarez to retrieve. Rodri.
And after starting brightly, the game starts to take a pattern, and obviously it is City with that controlled possession. And sometimes, I think as a visitor, you need some possession of the ball to actually rest with the ball. Very, very difficult, chasing, hurrying in the way that Burnley are trying to, but when they do get possession, they have to keep it.
Haaland making the break. The switch for Mahrez is perfect. Walker flying too. Maatsen keeps his eye on the ball. De Bruyne in with some good industry.
Well, the cheer comes from the Burnley supporters, and it was Maatsen who brilliantly coped with the threat of Mahrez on this right side as Kyle Walker overlapped. As he cuts this ball back, Foden, you see that he's caught late. Bayer sliding in. Foden just a little bit uncomfortable at the moment.
Jordan Bayer, who wears what is his middle name on the back of his shirt, named after the great basketball legend Michael Jordan. But his first name is actually Louis. He was in a young youth team in Germany. There was another player called Louis, so they decided to rename him to avoid the confusion.
I think Bayer is for us, Dan.
Foster scampering about, looking to make some mischief. Ruben Diaz.
Well, there are lots of Burnley bodies high up the field in the City half, which is a really brave way to go about stopping City playing.
Haaland trying to get it under his spell, but Al-Dakhil is there. Out of a little hole. Now Roberts gets out of a hole because Haaland couldn't resist.
He's very clever. Was Connor Roberts on that right touchline. The back heel came to him. He knew Erling Haaland was pressing from behind, hit the deck, won the free kick.
So applying some pressure, might yet pay off. But the foul given against Connor Roberts.
Well, he slides into the tackle, Dan, but he does get a left boot to the ball, but it's the nature of the challenge. He's uncontrolled, is Roberts, and he slides through Foden. You see here, there's the contact at the same time as Foden left boot gets to the ball. So does Connor Roberts. He probably gets the most of it, but it's just the nature of the challenge. The referee feels he's out of control and therefore issues the free kick.
Another familiar ex-City figure with Vincent Kompany there in Craig Bellamy, who is certainly not a yes man.
He is a passionate football man, and I'm sure that Vincent Kompany appreciates that. And Craig Bellamy will tell him if he doesn't agree with Vincent Kompany, and he probably appreciates that as well.
Rodri.
And Dan, it's certainly working for Burnley this season, you've got to say, especially their away form. They come here having played 18 league games, 10 wins, 6 draws, only 2 defeats on the road.
Yes, they lost to Watford, who feel they should be closer to the promotion prize. They lost to the team immediately below them. They were actually bullied and battered at times by Sheffield United. Bailey Peacock-Farrell finding touch there. Their other away defeat, incidentally, this season was at Manchester United in the League Cup. And Foden's made a run that he felt perhaps should have been spotted.
Well, he went to attack a space that Erling Haaland had created by dropping very deep.
Al-Dakhil has made a bright start to proceedings, but Alvarez there ahead of him. Mahrez wants it over here. Walker. De Bruyne. It's Cullen in the way. Rodri.
You can see how narrow they are defence in Burnley. They're just denying City the opportunity just to make those little probing passes to break lines. Working very, very hard in these early stages.
So Rory dropping back to make it a back five. Left wing back is a position he's played before. Mahrez. Foden trying to get away. Roberts with him. Alvarez. Al-Dakhil got there, but there's Foden. Maatsen able to grow enough, but not able to guide it conclusively away. Laporte won it back for Manchester City.
Yeah, it's a strong challenge that the Burnley supporters didn't like. But City, as we know, when they're high up the field, they will press very, very quickly. If they lose any possession of the ball in the final third, they're looking to win it back within seconds. Press the ball and the whole team high. Well,
that statistic is not an enormous surprise. Whoever is visiting the Etihad Stadium. De Bruyne with a sharp turn, gap plugged by Jordan Bayer. Alvarez. Foden.
Well, we've talked about Erling Haaland and his goal-scoring feats, but sometimes, and we know how wonderful De Bruyne is. Erling Haaland just making that run immediately. De Bruyne is looking to thread that ball into his path. They have a fantastic understanding already.
And De Bruyne on the surge again, looking for Alvarez this time. He lost the battle but won the war, but then, well, Roberts says, actually, no, you didn't.
Well, Roberts read it well, because Alvarez won it back brilliantly, sliding to scoop the ball back, and then he's in possession of the ball in the 18-yard box, and Connor Roberts covered really well.
Loose from Alvarez, Goodmanson able to pounce. Here's Teller. Quite the venom he wished for on the pass. And their grip on possession was fleeting. Maatsen. Mahrez. Now Walker. Rodri. Ruben Diaz.
Vincent Company down in that technical area, waving his team to be brave, to come up, to be higher, pressing the ball higher up the field.
It's a case of easier said.
It is, and they're holding that high line, but you know the goalkeeper, even from this position, will fire it over the top of Burnley's defence should he see a City player running in behind.
Oh, and that's stolen back by Coutinho, and now an opportunity perhaps for Foster. Some good work there by Rico Lewis.
Danny recovered the position because he was the one. There was a block tackle, it popped out. It was a great opportunity for Coutinho, but Lewis covered the ground brilliantly. Just having a word with his keeper, Ortega, now, to ask why he played such a dangerous ball to him.
Well, the goalkeeper grateful, and Burnley grateful that the window of opportunity is open for a moment, at least to keep hold of the ball for a spell.
Well, it is making those moments count against Manchester City. The rare mistakes you have to punish, and that was an opportunity for Burnley.
Maatsen and Zaroury. How brave is he going to be? That's useful. Teller. Coutinho with him. Oh, and a test for Ortega from a man in red-hot form at the moment, Nathan Teller, with 5 goals in the last 2 games in the Championship.
Well, the Burnley supporters are going crazy, and you can understand why. They do win possession back. Question mark offside when it's first played across to Teller, but he's just slipped slightly when he strikes it. Doesn't quite get the ferocity in the shot that he was hoping for, but Ortega had to turn it round.
Well, Burnley are one of the most prolific teams from corners in England's second tier. It's a delivery that needs defending. Cullen trying to retrieve it. Roberts looking for Zaroury here.
Well, he actually miskicks the cross. It was a really clever ball from Connor Roberts on the volley out to Zaroury, and he just needs to whip that ball through the 6-yard box. A miss-hit cross comfortably claimed by Ortega.
No doubt confidence gained by the visitors from that little spell. Aldacchio, Goodmanson. Walker happy enough to let it bounce more than once. Zarori. They are often betwixt and between when the goalkeeper plays it out, because Aro Muric is not what you would call risk-averse, the regular Burnley goalkeeper, and he has, especially earlier in the season, got into a bit of trouble back there.
But I'm sure you just see the reaction of Vincent Kompany. He's clapping Peacock Farrell, who is their cup goalkeeper, and will have been told at times that's what you need to do. Take that little risk, play the ball into wide areas where we can start the play-off, trying to draw City in.
Bayer coming a long way out of the back line. And presented to Foster, and now Vitinho. And Rico Lewis with not his first important challenge of the day.
Well, again, he's made a really important recovery challenge. Rico Lewis, it was a sloppy Alvarez pass.
And now Mahrez. Aldacchio's out of the game at the moment. Connor Roberts and Josh Cullen had stepped into cover. And Zaruri centre tumbling by Kyle Walker.
You just sense that City were going to capitalise on the error, but as the ball goes diagonally, you're right, Connor Roberts brilliantly back into a covering position. As the ball is played into the feet of Zaruri, Kyle Walker crashes into the back of him. Just gives Burnley the opportunity to regroup, reshape and take a breath.
Zaruri now has Teller beaten the offside here. Foster arriving in the area, Zaruri close at hand. Goodmanson. Teller. Now Maatsen. Bayer. Warren Teller, opportunity here. Well, vital last-ditch challenge from Ruben Diaz, and those challenges are mounting up.
And that was a really important challenge. He had to get it right. The timing of the Laporte challenge was a really big one. Diaz had crossed, sliding in as Teller's bearing down on what was a really good pass out in front of him. Diaz gets it absolutely spot on. But you can see it is a Burnley team that are really confident and really incisive as soon as they capitalise on any sort of mistake.
Well, capitalise is the word. Can they capitalise when they're in these good positions?
Well, they're good moments and they're good opportunities.
And Roberts arriving from nowhere here. Was completely unmarked. Bayer's head, Aldacchio's there!
He just miskicks it down. What an opportunity. A left foot volley attempt from Aldacchio.
That's Roberts. Guilty, tangling with Foden. Well, will Burnley live to regret that? This is the challenge.
Well, it's becoming quite a battle between Roberts and Foden. Roberts is being physical on Foden.
Well, plenty to encourage without plenty of the ball. Haaland's just been over for a word in the technical area. A message for Kevin De Bruyne.
well be just a quiet word as to the errors he's going to run into, that he's hoping that if De Bruyne's in possession of the ball, he can deliver it. He has sensed or seen something whereby he could try to exploit as Erling Haaland. But nearly 25 minutes in, Vincent Kompany, I think, will be very, very happy with the performance of his team to this point.
But here's Foden. And caught after releasing it, certainly in the opinion of the majority here, if not the one who counts.
Well, the ball was played by Foden before there was any sort of contact. They're saying it was late, the City players. Caught across that left instep. And it's that pair again, Foden, Roberts. And the challenge comes in from Vitinha, that's late on that instep. Referee was having none of it. It's just so quick, Dan. It's very, very difficult because you think you're there, you think you're making a challenge for the ball, and Foden, with that speed and agility, just toes the ball away from you.
Well, this is a sign of the growing Burnley confidence.
Well, Rico Lewis has now limped away from that challenge. I think it's Connor Roberts, as he clears the ball down the line, it's the follow-through of the right boot. You see here, Lewis rolls away from Gudmundsson immediate, but as he clears the ball here, the follow-through just catches that right boot of Rico Lewis from Connor Roberts. The clearance is there, and the follow-through catches him.
Haaland. Via. There's Vitinha. Gudmundsson. Couldn't gather it in, and a possibility for De Bruyne. Maatsen shot the door. Alvarez. And Mahrez may yet retrieve this, or will he settle for the corner? If he can get it, indeed he will.
Just wondered why Kevin De Bruyne didn't strike there as he picks the ball up. First time he could set his sights on target. Tried to just feed in Walker on this right-hand side.
Mahrez with a delivery, and Haaland not that far away on the near post. Maatsen. Montella's gone to ground, and Lewis deemed guilty of shoving him there.
Montella going for the 1-2, and Lewis just blocked him. Both coaches really animated down in their technical areas, trying to get subtle little changes into their teams. There's absolutely no doubt that Vincent Kompany's enjoying the challenge, going head-to-head with Pep Guardiola.
Certainly on the road, the ultimate test at the moment. The team with the best record in the top division on their home ground. Just about. And, yet to concede a goal in this season's FA Cup. Walker. Two full-backs both inside the centre circle there for Manchester City. Mahrez. Rodri. Bayer finding a way out. Zarori. Walker.
Well, in that previous phase of play, Dan, there was just a couple of runs from Kevin De Bruyne that he made in a forward direction. He wanted the ball played forward, just a little bit frustrated. I think it was Kyle Walker the first one, then Rodri the second, with the opportunity to try to feed the run of De Bruyne, and they didn't do it, and he got very frustrated.
A little glimpse of Teller's running power there. This is Mahrez. De Bruyne. Foden. Haaland's in there. Well, they were possibly fearing the worst for a moment.
Good cross, and Haaland rising. I think he'll be disappointed. I just sense he might have changed his mind from attempting to head at goal to trying to knock it down for a supporting player, and in the end there was no direction in the header.
Alvarez. Now Mahrez. We'll find Alvarez again, trying to work that shooting opportunity, and Bayer does well.
Well, he lays down in the challenges. It looked like Alvarez had skipped by him, and he just scoops that ball brilliantly back to his goalkeeper. Should it be a back pass? I think that was the question that Mahrez was asking. I think he knew what he was doing, but good defending.
Well, Burnley shading it in terms of attempts, and indeed have mustered the only 2 efforts on target. Who'd have said that at this stage of this FA Cup tie beforehand?
And that is without a lot of possession, so it just indicates what they're capable of.
Team used to having a lot of the ball, so it's kind of a different challenge today in every sense for Vincent Kompany.
But I'm sure they would have talked about it. They would have analysed City and said that, look, for long periods of the game they may have possession of the ball and control the tempo of the game, but it is for those moments, and we've seen glimpses of when they have had those chances and they have created it through pressure and taken the opportunity after mistakes by City. He will know that that is where it's vitally important to try to make that count and take one.
Well, Craig Bellamy having his say to Anthony Taylor, the 4th official.
I think he was known to do that as a player as well, Dan, so I'm not surprised.
Well, Haaland gets his chance and gets his goal! 4-0 and counting, and a first in the FA Cup. There is always just a sense of inevitability about it, and Burnley, for all their good work, are undone by the most prolific front man around.
Well, he only needs one chance, and when this ball is fed to him in behind that Burnley defence, the first time he's got on there, you can see he competes for the ball forward, but the way he quickly exploits the pace in behind the central defenders, and as the keeper, Peacock Farrell, throws himself at the feet of Erling Haaland. He's quick, he gets the all-important touch, and where does it end up? In the back of the net. Brilliant run, fabulous finish.
Well, he is almost impossible to stop.
Number 40 of the season. Just the way, Dan, when he challenges for the initial ball and it comes forward, and then it's headed away by the defender, but that space that's been created, Erling Haaland senses the opportunities there. He attacks that space, the ball's delivered, and he puts the ball in the back of the net. That's brilliant centre-forward play.
And speed of thought to know exactly what was required in that situation too.
Absolutely, and running onto that ball, he just knows he's just got to get to the ball first. There's nothing clever about the way he finishes. He just gets a toe to the ball underneath the keeper.
Well, it was very notable as the heavens have well and truly opened here that Vincent Kompany got his whole team over to the touchline in the wake of conceding there. Well, rallying cry or instruction Burnley seeking to respond in a good manner.
And it is a test for them now, because the way they set about the game, quitted themselves really well. They have been undone by the man who's just red hot at the moment. But I'm sure that message from Vincent Kompany was to continue in the same manner. We've had opportunities, we will get further opportunities.
Doesn't have any problem getting his message across. But they might have some problems here. Haaland powering in there. There he is! And in a blink of an eye, Erling Haaland has taken this FA Cup tie possibly beyond Burnley already.
Well, this is absolutely sensational from Manchester City. In no time at all, Erling Haaland, his second FA Cup goal of his career. Brilliant cross from Foden. De Bruyne again, what an incisive pass in behind the fullback. Foden knows exactly where Erling Haaland's going to be. He plays that ball with such precision. Brilliant De Bruyne pass, wonderful Foden cross, and Haaland opens his body up and side foots home, as clinical as you like. His 41st goal of the season. Where is it going to stop, Dan? You tell me. I just don't know. He's there again. He finishes beautifully. 2 goals in 3 minutes.
Well, extraordinary. They can do that. It seemed that not a difficult situation, but Burnley certainly asking some searching questions. But suddenly they go up through the gears. And that's what that second goal was all about.
And what quality. The De Bruyne pass was inch perfect. The Foden cross was absolutely precision for Erling Haaland, and he finished perfectly.
Foden, the intended beneficiary, just struck his heels and enabled Al-Dakhil to step in. And wonder what he's thinking now after that miscue on the back post from the set piece for Burnley a little earlier. He is a former striker, Al-Dakhil, and usually he tends to come up with the goods in those sort of situations, having watched a lot of his performances in Belgium.
Well, they're the moments, they're the opportunities that you have to take against Manchester City, because they've just showed us in a 5-minute period how devastating they are.
Walker. I can't offer too many fantastically hopeful statistics to Burnley, but they've lost the previous 10 games against Manchester City by an aggregate score of 34-1. Haaland, well, that's some productivity from 8 touches, 2 goals.
Yeah, and there's only been 2, I think 3 touches in the penalty box, of which 2 he's converted. The header that he didn't head on target, tried to knock down for a supporting teammate, but the 2 important touches were brilliant finishes.
He's one away from his 6th hat-trick in Manchester City colours. He's not been here a season yet.
And how disappointed he seemed the other night when he was withdrawn, substituted, when he was on 5, and the possibility of the first ever striker to score 2 hat-tricks in a Champions League game.
It might just be Pep's way of I don't think he'll have any problem keeping him hungry, but maybe increasing his appetite, if that's possible. Here he is again.
Well, there'll just be one thing in his mind now, Dan, and that is to keep getting into positions to try to score an FA Cup hat-trick, at least this afternoon. Really important period now, this last 5 minutes of the first half. A third goal now, it certainly would put this FA Cup tie to bed, and at 2-0 it is never done, and even against Manchester City, Vincent Kompany will know that, and he will want to get his team in that dressing room less damaged than they are right now.
Rico Lewis battling hard, but Vitinho finding a way out. This is Maatsen. Now Foster. Zaroury.
We have to say it was really ambitious from Zaroury, cutting in off that left side. It is on his favoured right foot, but in the end a really poor strike.
He does have all the tricks in the book.
They break quickly, they work the ball out to him. You see he immediately drives inside Kyle Walker onto that favoured right side, but it would have to be quite a spectacular finish.
Some debate from Rico Lewis, but it is a Burnley throw, and then a tangle between Teller and Lewis.
Well, Teller takes off. I thought Rico Lewis was a little fortunate that he certainly grabs hold of Teller. Referee saw it.
Towards Teller. To ground he goes, and a free kick. It's an extraordinary season. He's one short of 20, Nathan Teller.
Yeah, absolutely fabulous return. Hat-trick in the week as well, so he comes here full of confidence.
Yeah, he's not quite hitting the heights of Haaland, but he has scored 2 hat-tricks for Burnley this season.
Dan, no one's reaching the heights of Erling Haaland.
Well, Rodri with a little pull there, but Bayer will find Vitinho. And Roberts moving forward outside him. There needs to be so much care in possession from Burnley.
Absolutely, Dan. Sloppy pass, all of a sudden City counter.
But no corner. Al-Dakhil preventing that. Foster. Just not quite measured, and Zaroury showing his frustration.
And that will frustrate Vincent Kompany massively, because those passes have to be perfect, have to be precise. And if they are, that's when you get your opportunities.
Because the situations they're creating are still good, aren't they?
Absolutely, Dan. You're absolutely right. And that's what Vincent Kompany will be emphasising at half-time. That quality in the final third.
Teller, it was almost like he was in a position to start a 100-metre dash there. Urging Vitinho to shoot as Ortega scampered back. This is Goodmanson. Teller. Stobrena who won it back. Foden. Teller chasing, having lost the ball, only succeeds in conceding a foul.
Yeah, forward chasing back because he'd given the ball away. You can see the intentions there, but just the nature of the challenge is always going to be penalised.
Leave it to Foden. Well, it's a beauty. And Burnley relief that no telling contact was made.
Yeah, I think the first man was Laporte that it flashed by. He couldn't get the header on it. Diaz sliding in behind him, couldn't get that final touch.
Just over a minute or so until Burnley get themselves back in the dressing room. Plenty of positives to take from the first half, but they're up against the phenomenon, and that's been the difference.
Absolutely. The reality is how do you keep this man quiet? Because when he gets chances, he puts the ball in the back of the net.
So Rory making a run from out to in. He's now gone offside. This is Bayer. Maatsen. Zarori. On for Maatsen again. Another promising moment for Burnley. And the hands of Ortega warmed again. And that's the last act. A fresh shot of confidence for Vincent Kompany's Burnley, who have done so much that has been good in the first 45 minutes here at the Etihad Stadium, but in the end, undone by that man, as so many teams have been this season. His 40th and 41st goals of this extraordinary season, his first and second in the FA Cup. Ortega has had some business to attend to at the other end, which should give Burnley heart. They're not out of this just yet, but it is a long, long way back. Half-time, Manchester City 2, Burnley 0. A new focal point, if you like. Jack Cork hoping to exert a little more control, if possible, in midfield, replacing Johan Berg Gudmundsson.
Yeah, you can understand the experience changes, the old heads, but certainly Barnes will give a different perspective into having that target man, maybe to go to a little bit quicker on that front line.
And his first contribution is to kind of run into Ruben Diaz and give him a bit of a nudge.
Just to say that he's here.
He has actually been on a winning Burnley side against Manchester City. Last time they recorded a victory 8 years ago in the Premier League, when George Boyd scored the only goal at Turf Moor.
Well, I think you'll find that Burnley might go a little bit quicker and directer to the area that Barnes is in, and that will give Teller the opportunity to run around him and certainly beyond him.
An eat and run, as we've seen already. De Bruyne. There's Vitinho. De Bruyne will get his free kick.
As you see, no changes for City. De Bruyne loses the ball for a second, regains it quickly. Wins the free kick.
And well, either option could spell big trouble here for Burnley. It will be left to Foden. Well, it's defended by Roberts, comes out to Rico Lewis. Mahrez to tease it in there. Lewis, Foden. Ortega looking to get it into Haaland's feet, but Cork there sweeping. Aldakir. Cork. England cap, Jack Cork, and with Jay Rodriguez in this squad, who's currently on the injured list. Well, Teller is one away from 20 goals for Burnley. They've largely done this, what they've done in the league, without a prolific striker. Teller plays in a variety of attacking positions.
Well, I think sometimes that is a bonus, that all your goals are not in one basket. I know that obviously City with Haaland, it's quite exceptional, but to spread the goals around, and certainly Vincent Kompany's team have done that.
So Rory, useful run there by Maatsen. Here's Roberts. Vitinho. Cork. Cullen. Ruben Diaz getting his head to it.
Well, they decided to keep possession of the ball. I just felt when they swept the ball out to the right-hand side, there was an opportunity to clip the ball in, just to test City with Barnes on that front line.
Ducky looking for a way out. There weren't too many.
Well, he didn't have too many options, and City were high on the press after the ball went back to the goalkeeper. Well, I think 2-0 up City. It's not started with quite the intensity that the game started initially. Pep Guardiola will be looking for his team to control it now.
Well, there have been quite a few games in their time that they've just idled through, having established a lead of relative comfort. Can lead to potential problems. Alvarez. Foden hoping to get this under control. And a shout for handball, it's given against Jack Cork.
Yeah, his left hand just sweeps the ball away. As it bounces, it comes round the side of Foden. You see it here, he takes control, left hand comes through and pushes the ball away. A dangerous position to give a free kick away from the Burnley substitute. I'm a little surprised that Erling Haaland's not across to maybe take this on, Dan. Kevin De Bruyne, the right-footed specialist, I'm sure will maybe just tell Phil Foden, stand there, you've got a left foot, but I'm going to strike it.
Well, such is Kevin De Bruyne's position in the hierarchy here, I imagine that he's not one you would argue with. It will be De Bruyne. And Haaland might have a greater case the next time.
Yeah, and Phil Foden applauding De Bruyne. He'll be disappointed with that. It's a poor strike by his standards.
Legendary figure of Mike Summerby. Won the FA Cup with Manchester City back in 1969. He created the winning goal on that occasion against Leicester City, past a young Peter Shilton. Neil Young dispatched it there. Well, that was the high watermark for Manchester City until this era, where they won League Championship, FA Cup the following season, and then the League Cup and the European Cup Winners' Cup in the same season. Under the famed managerial team of Joe Mercer and Malcolm Allison. Alvarez might break for Mahrez. Indeed it does. It's Ruben Diaz well advanced. Foden.
Asserting real control on Manchester City. Comfortable in possession. Burnley dropping off. They're just dominating the way that this game's unfolding.
Walker peeling in from the flank. There's Mahrez! Well, Burnley were looking around wondering whether a flag should have gone up. Mahrez passing up a very presentable opportunity.
Oh, what a wonderful move. Kyle Walker actually made the run a few seconds before, but this time it's beautifully hit. He looks onside when it's delivered, and Mahrez is certainly behind him. Wonderful side foot volley pass from Kyle Walker. Then the opportunity, the left foot volley strikes the knee of Peacock Farrell. That could have put this FA Cup tie to bed.
Rodri. Well, not what he was hoping for at the end of that.
But they are again moving the ball well, City, at the start of this second half, dominating possession, patience in their build-up.
Just a word for Nathan Teller. Could be forgiven for feeling like spectators at the moment. There's De Bruyne. Bayer. Oh, Barnes not going to give up on this, but Ortega will get there. Oh, now Bayer's distinctly concerned. It's Erling Haaland! And Bailey Peacock Farrell is there. Well, he's hat-trick hunting. Walker. And Alvarez was there.
Dan, that was brilliant work by Erling Haaland in terms of the way that he won the ball, protected it, skipped past the challenge in the 18-yard box, and I think the majority of this stadium were expecting the ball to nestle in the back of the net. It's just pumped forward, but look at the aggression, the pace, the way he holds off the defender, skips past him. Now, when he strikes it, the goalkeeper, in the end, makes a good stop. That is wonderful centre-forward play, and he'll be bitterly disappointed he hasn't scored a hat-trick. Hits that left knee again of Peacock Farrell. Great work to get there. Tries to just cut it back into that near post, and the keeper's glad to stop it.
And he's got his positioning right again. This is Walker. Julian Alvarez! Well, Al-Dakhir with a crucial challenge there, just keeping Burnley alive for the moment.
Well, they're hanging in here, Burnley, they really are. Two stops from the keeper, good block there. Really being tested defensively.
Laporte.
And Dan, as we know, the Championship is such a marathon, so many games back-to-back, that sometimes, certainly playing against a team of City's quality, you can just sense that there's some fatigue building in this Burnley side.
Well, some of them will be on duty, but there'll be a few out there grateful there's an international break after this. Alvarez, De Bruyne. He's found that little bit of space. And Jordan Bayer able to get his head in the way.
And again, it's an important header, because De Bruyne, as he skips inside on that right foot, tries to wind it in. It's on target. Bayer takes no chances, gets his head to it to concede the corner.
Whether Peacock Farrell might have dealt with it or not, it was an important header, a goal-bound shot. Haaland pulling to the near post. De Bruyne's coming in, and although Foden's header goes goalward, he was winding up there, wasn't he, the Belgian?
Well, he certainly was. He probably gave Foden a shout, who headed it, but not particularly well.
The recovery pace of Kyle Walker, which we've seen so often down the years. Into his 30s now, but he can still match most for pace, can't he? Well, escaped De Bruyne's clutches, but not for long. Mahrez. Haaland. Mahrez. Phil Foden. Oh, and Haaland is there! Inevitably. Well, he has his hat-trick. The goals just continue to flow in an almighty torrent. And the Etihad Stadium stands and applauds as one, this goal-scoring phenomenon.
Well, I absolutely love him here, and you can understand why, because there's all sorts of goals that this man scores. Another hat-trick. Quite brilliantly taken goal, a superb Manchester City move. De Bruyne sweeps the ball wide, Mahrez with time to feed it into Haaland, who that delicate little touch kept the move going. Foden's cross shot, and as it comes back off the post, there he is. He's made a touch in the build-up, and then he's on hand, and he's aware to open his body up and fire that ball back into the net for another hat-trick. There is nothing this man can't do.
Well, 8 goals in just a few short days here at the Etihad. And they've delivered some beatings to Burnley in recent years. The fear for the Championship leaders is that another one is on the way. 5-0 the last time they met in the FA Cup. But here's Maatsen looking to at least show some defiance. It is remarkable, it's his 6th Manchester City hat-trick already.
Yeah, can I just reassess that 55 that I thought he might amass at the end of the season? I'm going to go 60 now. Unbelievable.
Well, there was a player who played against Manchester City in an FA Cup final 90 years ago who scored 60 league goals in a top division season in England. William Ralph Dean, better known as Dixie of Everton.
Did he not finish with 62, I think? That was the record, and has been for so many years, that people felt was unbreakable. I'm not so sure. Erling's coming after it.
Well, to Burnley's great relief, he's not got much time to add to the tally today, because we're hearing he's about to be withdrawn.
And he's not going to be happy, I can assure you.
We mentioned that Dixie Dean record. There was a guy called George Camsell who'd scored 59 league goals for Middlesbrough the season before. They said it would never be broken, and of course it was broken within 12 months. Haaland might be seeking to do that to his own. Oh, this is great stuff now, De Bruyne. And it must be for Alvarez. Well, he ends the goal-scoring monopoly. And he absolutely, positively has ended Burnley's hopes and booked Manchester City's place in yet another FA Cup semi-final.
Dan, City at their best. Absolutely superb passing and movement. And Alvarez on the end of it. City have come out in this second half and just absolutely blown Vincent Kompany's Burnley away. And this is quality, football of the highest order. Foden sweeps it right. Mahrez, brilliant overlapping run, threaded in for De Bruyne, and he rolls it perfectly for Alvarez to tap home. The movement, the weight of pass, and the way that they finish, absolutely sensational from Manchester City.
Well, the legendary former charge of Manchester City has been reminded of what this club can do at its best, and the gulf between a team winning the championship with great style and a team that have been serial winners in the last few years. The serial goal scorer is gone. Cole Palmer, his replacement. Manuel Akanji on for Ruben Diaz as well, and Michael Obafemi has been brought on here for Burnley. Cole Palmer, one off the production line. Nathan Tella is replaced by Obafemi.
Yeah, changes made by Vincent Kompany, and you can understand why. It is all about now claiming that Premiership place come the end of this season.
And City are going to introduce some further fresh legs very shortly. Calvin Phillips and Sergio Gomez are waiting in the technical area.
Well, it's meant that Alvarez has gone in a centre-forward position. Cole Palmer come onto this left-hand side.
It's Michael Obafemi, who arrived on loan from Swansea in the January window. Time at Chelsea, Arsenal and Watford as a youngster. Withdrawn on 63 minutes as he was, with 5 goals in the pocket in midweek.
Yeah, just slipping a little. He only scored 3 this evening.
Well, Rico Lewis is taken off here. Sergio Gomez is his replacement. Rodri is replaced by Calvin Phillips, whose minutes have been limited for various reasons.
Well, the luxury of being able to make changes, give players important minutes. But look at that stat, 15 attempts, 7 on target, of which has resulted in 4 Manchester City goals. That just exemplifies the quality that they have.
Well, teased in there by Palmer. Well, made a determined run outside him. And well, it has been an onslaught since the start of the second half. We wondered for a moment whether they were going to try and idle their way through it. They've certainly demolished that notion.
Just so incisive, the way that they moved the ball and then created the opportunities, whether it be an overload, whether it be a run in behind, and the precision of pass has been absolutely of the high standard from Manchester City. And then the finishing, say no more, absolutely breathtaking. Well, I think just sending out that message, Manchester City, not only in this competition, but to the Premier League and Arsenal as leaders, that they're not going to give their Premier League title up lightly.
And it'll be Pep Guardiola making the journey back to one of his old haunts in the Champions League, we shouldn't forget, with the very intriguing draw with Bayern Munich in the quarter-finals.
Well, quarter-finals of the Champions League, absolutely no easy game. But what a mouth-watering prospect that is against Bayern Munich, who beat PSG in the last round.
De Bruyne. And the appetite is still there. Phil Foden. Oh, and Palmer!
Dan, I think that's his first touch. What a way to come into the game, Cole Palmer. But Kevin De Bruyne in his second half has been superb, he really has. He's been instrumental in just about everything that City have done.
Well, barely a flicker of emotion. And there will be for Cole Palmer. It's his first goal of the campaign.
But watch De Bruyne. When he picks the ball up, he drives forward. And then, again, the quality of the pass, the precision, the weight, the touch from Foden. The cross comes in, just touched by the keeper. Falls nicely for Cole Palmer, who gets himself into a goal-scoring position and takes it well.
Well, it's 5 again in the FA Cup for Manchester City against Burnley, as it was in 2019 when they went on to win it. I suppose we should reflect that their biggest win over Burnley was 7-0 back in 1968. I don't think we're going to get into the realms of their biggest FA Cup win, which was 12-0 against Liverpool Stanley back in 1890.
No, but certainly Vincent Kompany, his staff, his players will not want to concede anymore if they can prevent and keep the score as it is. They don't want it to be too emphatic and certainly confidence damaging.
Well, the Poznan, the Manchester City celebration, which they acquired after a European trip to Poland, is going on all around the ground at the moment. And City on for another, and Peacock foul in the way from Mahrez. Alvarez! All hands on deck for Burnley, and they see it away.
Brilliant De Bruyne pass again. Mahrez with a shot that hits the goalkeeper and comes out. They really are scrambling at the moment, Burnley, to keep City at bay.
And here's Phillips making a burst. Well, he's a man yet to score in Manchester City colours, and I just have a feeling that was on his mind there.
Oh, he just wanted to score, didn't he? The ball bounced kindly for him. Again, brilliant Mahrez pass, this time in behind. It just sits nicely for him. He's trying to drill it back into the top corner. This was the Alvarez attempt, blocked by Connor Roberts. I don't know how City are going to, Burnley are going to stop this onslaught at the moment. It is just flowing for Manchester City.
Remember, unbeaten at home, Burnley this season, just 2 league defeats on the road. Roberts. When Roberts floored off the ball, he certainly felt he was blocked off by Gomez.
Yeah, Gomez just stepped across the run of Connor Roberts. Referee John Brooks giving nothing for that. Got to say, Dan, they are in brilliant form in the Championship, Burnley. This just might be a little reality check, and I'm sure Vincent Kompany will use it to good effect in respect of them going on to close out not only Premiership qualification for next season, but maybe winning the Championship as well.
Well, here's Maatsen, possibility here. Wonder whether Obafemi was offside.
Then there's a difference. Foden in the first half from that position delivers the ball perfectly for Erling Haaland. Maatsen has the opportunity to deliver a ball of precision, but gives an opportunity to score, and it's not delivered.
Well, talking of balls of precision, that was a beauty. Oh, and Alvarez makes the absolute most of it. It is glorious stuff.
And in a matter of seconds, Dan, an example of the difference, the gulf in class and quality that City have. What a pass, brilliant composure from Alvarez. Quality to come back inside the defender, and then rightfully shot into the roof of the net.
Well, the finish, merciless from Alvarez. The through pass, magical from Kevin De Bruyne.
Well, it just had to be. Kevin De Bruyne has been absolutely sensational in this second half. Look at the way he has that composure, but then the ability, the ball's almost underneath him, to play it into the path of the running Alvarez, who still has a lot to do, and finishes it. But look at the composure here. Takes his time, weighs it up inside the defender. Alvarez then strong, good balance, and composure to finish.
Well, he's searching for a hat-trick now. And the gulf, in the end, proving a mighty chasm.
Well, there's just a buzz. It's almost a disbelief of what they're watching, and they've seen some spectacular performances from Manchester City, none more so than the game in the week in the Champions League. But here, they are running riot.
Well, there's every possibility it might be 7 again. Well, it'll be hurtful.
I think he'll use it to good use, I really do.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily want to be Sunderland right now. They're Burnley's next league opponents.
Well, I didn't want to say it, no disrespect to the Championship, but Vincent Kompany is going to say you're not going to come up against a team like this, at least this season. And going into that final run-in, and the glimpses of quality that they've shown, or the way that they've gone about the game, certainly in the first half, but in the end, the golfing class, as you rightly said, has been absolutely immense.
Alvarez in there again, worrying Peacock Farrell.
Yeah, it just took too long, took too many touches, and then in the end gave Alvarez the opportunity to try to smother the clearance. He gets that right boot up, and the ricochet, the block for him just goes agonisingly wide.
A couple of changes here for Burnley. We're going to see Samuel Bastien and Charlie Taylor. Maatsen withdrawn and Vitinho. Charlie Taylor will go into the left-back position. Bastien can play anywhere across the midfield. He's in that right-sided station. Laporte got there ahead of Barnes, but Barnes has earned his team a free kick. Well, conversion rate's not too bad either.
Yeah, it really has been a fantastic exhibition from Manchester City.
I may be understating this, but are they the team to avoid in the semi-final?
Absolutely. The form they're in, the run that they seem to be finding themselves, and the momentum that they're building.
Well, the Championship flag is still flying in the competition and will be at Wembley in the semis, with Sheffield United facing Blackburn tomorrow. Promotion rivals of Burnley, although not really in touch with them, as much as it will pain the Blackburn Rovers followers to hear that. They're bitter rivals. And Grimsby of League Two still involved.
I think Grimsby would take Manchester City in what would be their final, but certainly if you get this far in the competition and you're going to go into the semi-finals, the one team that you will want to avoid is Manchester City.
That was a Kanji. Phillips losing out. Cullen. That's Barnes. Now Charlie Taylor.
Well, Dan, I've got to say it's the magic of the FA Cup once again, but we sat here right at the start of the game and I said that I thought this was going to be a mouth-watering FA Cup tie. The leaders of the Championship against the Premier League champions, quarter-final of the FA Cup. It had the makings of being a sensational FA Cup tie. I didn't quite imagine that it would be this, but superb from Manchester City. Absolutely wonderful display against what are a very, very good side in Burnley.
And they showed that in the first half. Defiant chorus from those who've travelled from East Lancashire to support Burnley.
Well, it is a case of the job done. City outstanding and quite comfortable now, really just to play the game out.
Well, their next action is against Liverpool. And April the 1st here. It's not quite the gargantuan head-to-head it usually is, but it's certainly a massively important game for both sides.
Always a massive game. The one thing for Pep Guardiola now is that obviously so many of his players will go away on international duty that it almost disrupts the momentum that they're building up, because they're going to have players who could be playing 2 internationals over the next couple of weeks, and how they return, in what condition they return in, hopefully without injuries.
Looking to get Alvarez in again. Well, could it be that having waited 7 years for an FA Cup hat-trick, Manchester City, we get 2 in one afternoon? Burnley breaking. Zaroury. It's Cullen. Roberts. Going to bring Charlie Taylor into it. Oh, and Ortega flying.
Well, it's a good cross from Taylor, but there is no one central when that cross flashes across, and Ortega in the end, he can't catch it, decides to punch it clear.
Obafemi, now Roberts. Possibility here for Bastien. It's a good area. Barnes with Akanji at his back.
Well, Bastien does well. He rolls away, gets his body across Gomez, rolls away and gets into a crossing position. Barnes is attacking that near post, but difficult to convert from that angle. Good work from Bastien. Sees Barnes just trying to get across the front of Akanji.
Bastien, a really versatile player. The only outfield position he hasn't played in his career is centre-back. Very handy man to have around the squad. He signed from Standard Liège. A little bit of a loose one there from Foden at no cost. This is Akanji. Laporte.
What it is, it just seems the last 5 minutes or so, Dan, that they've just changed down a gear. They're certainly controlled. It's been a wonderful performance. So many of them have contributed. And you can understand they're just very, very controlled in finishing this game off.
Mahrez the target.
You're not going to ask me for a man of the match, are you?
Perish the thought. I don't think we need to have a vote on it, do we?
Thank you. Manchester City.
Here's Cork. Now Cullen into Bastien. Sergio Gomez biting at his heels. Well, as painful as this day will undoubtedly be, the pleasure of promotion is possibly only 3 games away for Burnley. Got some tough games coming up though. Sunderland, who won't have given up on a playoff place just yet, although it's looking a distant prospect. And Sheffield United and Middlesbrough, who both believe that they can claim automatic promotion with them. De Bruyne, and a free kick in a healthy and promising position.
Well, it's just fabulous play. Confidence, balance, the touches of the ball, change of direction, pass one challenge, and the second, Cullen, all he could do is just stop De Bruyne in his tracks.
The sight of him limping will not be a happy one, both for Pep Guardiola and the new Belgian coach, Domenico Tedesco.
I think it's just the contact from Cullen that De Bruyne is feeling the effects of. Two-man wall, slightly different angle, no De Bruyne. Walker across to try it with his right foot.
Something a little different. Mahrez. Well, now Obafemi. Is there something here for Burnley on the break? Bastien. Well, that worked out. This is Taylor. Oh, and Cork bursting through, and Obafemi arriving. Just taken a little of the momentum out of it, but this is Zaroury. De Bruyne kept his eye on the ball. And he's unhappy. Zaroury had a little bite there. Their respective nations were foes in the World Cup finals, Belgium and Morocco.
I think there was a little push that De Bruyne was unhappy about.
I think having seen him limp for a moment, there's going to be an element of the protection and preserving about this next Manchester City change.
Yeah,
Jack
Grealish is readied.
De Bruyne is the man to come off. Well, he's had a decent rest now after a more superhuman feats.
Well, he's probably saying to John Stones, you know what, I could have had 10 goals this week. If he'd have let me stay on against...
You strikers, you're always thinking of the ones you could have had.
Absolutely. Well, Haaland's been fantastic, but this man has been absolutely sensational. In the second half, as good as you will see from Kevin De Bruyne.
Well, he's had many an ovation at this ground. Oh, so richly deserved. He has been one of his talents of this generation in the Premier League. Jack Grealish will play a cameo role today, a walk-on part, but you never know. He may yet steal a scene.
I think that signal from Kevin De Bruyne as he left the field was it was the contact injury, so just a knock that he will certainly recover from.
So the European Championship qualifiers start in the coming days. So it's a significant time for international sides as they begin their race to Germany.
And there's a few empty seats, and I think that's an indication that even the home faithful feel that the job's done. They're quite happy with what they've seen. It's a night of pouring rain there, but they've gone home happy.
Yes, I think they'll be all right in what remains. But well, there's not long, and I think it's a little bit of benevolence here. 2 added minutes at the end of this game. Somewhat merciful, given what has unfolded.
This evening's Emirates player of the match will score of an FA Cup hat-trick today. Our number 9, Erling Haaland.
Well, in a shock development, the vote in the stadium for player of the match has gone to Erling Haaland. That's a card.
Yeah, Laporte fouled. Barnes. Yeah, it's a wild challenge. Unnecessary.
The first of the game in the very final few seconds.
That's the Burnley supporters who have been in great voice all this game. They've got good days to come in the not too distant future.
Well, Vincent Kompany came in only very shortly before the start of the season in relative terms. He's engineered a total transformation in style, a huge turnover in their playing staff, and you have to marvel at the job that he's done. The curtain falls, and they've been richly entertained in the Etihad Stadium in the last few days. Another phenomenal day's football, and the phenomenon of a goal scorer, Erling Haaland, did the bulk of the damage. And a sporting congratulation for a man who was just too good for the Championship leaders. A merciless hat-trick, having scored 5 in the week, and his appetite was not quenched. Julian Alvarez got 2 for himself, 1 after an exquisite, magical through ball from Kevin De Bruyne. Cole Palmer also on the score sheet, his first of the season. But Burnley, we shouldn't forget, did ask a question or two in that first 45. It wasn't all plain sailing, and I wonder if Amin Al-Dakhil might have a few nightmares about the opportunity that fell his way, whether he could have put a more meaningful effort towards goal. But Vincent Kompany's return, it's not a happy one in terms of result, but plenty of lessons to learn. That's the standard to which most aspire, certainly in goal-scoring terms, and they, unquestionably, are the team to fear in the FA Cup semi-finals. Another match ball for Erling Haaland. His collection just continues to grow, and Manchester City march triumphantly, stylishly, brilliantly on to Wembley and the last 4 of the FA Cup.